Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the Chens Podcast. Today I'm interviewing Eddievak and we're gonna be asking him some questions about just YouTube, shorts, stuff like that, and cubing. Are you ready to get into it?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so the first question, this is actually more of a broader question, but is there anything in specific that has made you thought like, okay, I think that, almost making short form content and this kind of the kind of content you make about cubing, like it's different than almost like a J perm or like almost the videos the Cubicle makes, stuff like that. Is there a specific reason that you choose to make the kind of cubing content that you do?
Do you want the honest answer or do you want a hmm? Because I can give you a really honest answer first.
We can
The
have
reason
both.
I first started making short form content is because I didn't think this would go anywhere, like at all. I just wanted to make videos for fun. Like I
Hmm.
downloaded TikTok during COVID and I was like, I'm just gonna make videos. I started making cup stacking videos for fun because that's like another thing I used to do. And then I made a couple cubing ones and then they like
That's
did
cool.
really well. So I was like, okay, I'll just keep doing this. So it's
Cubing.
kind of just how it like worked out, I guess. Um, I also think more of the more of the internet now is gearing towards short form content just in general, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's kind of like a smart way of going about it. But I have done
Yeah.
like long form content in the past. Like
Yeah.
I did YouTube. Like I had a different channel back in like it was like 2014 to like 2018-ish. I did like regular just like unboxing review stuff. Um but yeah, I think it's just kind of how it worked out. I mean, I would like to branch out to long form content again. It's just I think the short form content just takes less time to make.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's for sure. I started off with short form content but I did like a very different kind of content. It's probably something that is maybe a little bit annoying for you because the fact that you like make like cubing short form content that's based for cubers. But I think a lot of people, and I'm in this group too, we would just do like the on the beats, dun 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 dun.
Yeah, no, that
And
like
those they
I've
populate
done
the
that
shorts and it's
before.
not worth it at the end.
Yeah, no, it's like you'll get
I like
you
spammed
like
it though.
yeah, you'll get spam views. So it's like
Hmm.
you'll get a lot of views on a certain video, right? But
Yeah.
no one will come back to see any of your other content. So you have to be
Yeah.
like kind of like I learned this kind of the hard way, right? I was doing like stuff like that for a while, but um I think it's really important to try to bring your audience back, especially with short form content because it's
Hmm.
really difficult to do that sometimes.
Yeah. I agree because it's like what you were saying like with your long form content. I think it was like just Eddievak, right? And it was
Yeah.
like it's definitely different because like think about it. There's a lot of good short form cubing creators at this point. On Instagram, there's even some stuff that is
Hmm.
getting better with short form content. And then there's you, and there's a lot of other short form cubing creators. And then you have that, and I think a lot of a couple of channels I can name that are my personal friends, people like D-Cubes and Cube Time. We've all kind of strayed away from that. But it's something that's getting very overpopulating, and it's kind of getting close to the point where those Minecraft YouTube channels that kept
Yeah,
re-uploading the same video.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it's
Yeah.
dangerously nearing that.
It
But
wasn't like
yeah.
that when I started in 2021. It
Mhm.
was like me and maybe Soup Timmy, and if you know New
Yeah.
Pianist as
Oh
well.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
was like us three and maybe Captain Cuber. You've probably heard of him.
Yeah, it's Captain Cuber.
Yeah, like us four, maybe some other person. That was it though. But never, no one really like because I feel like as YouTube Shorts back then didn't really like exist. It wasn't like a whole big thing.
Hmm.
Um, it like nobody really expected it to, I think, especially in our like cubing niche, to
Hmm.
kind of blow up the way it did. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the bar for like good Rubik's Cube short content is a lot higher now than it was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that's fair. It's probably also just more competitive in that space. But
Yeah.
those people you named like new pianist, probably a little bit smaller than y'all for sure, but definitely still making great content. And then
Hmm.
Captain Cuber and Soup Timmy, of course, we know Soup Timmy makes like portraits for celebrities and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that. I definitely agree. I think that human content, like, I think quality is something that's very important in it. And it's kind of redefining how us viewers are using that. But yeah. But the next question for this podcast, I don't know, interview
Mhm.
is, do you ever see yourself, so to my knowledge, which could be wrong because I'm not on TikTok, but you use Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, right? Is there
Yeah, and
any other,
Twitch as well.
oh, Twitch, yeah, I
Hmm.
do know that. Is there any other, like, can't really think of any, but are there any other platforms that you would ever think about, like, growing on or, like, even trying to commit more time to? Like, that you see cubing almost using in the future?
I tried Facebook Reels for like a year,
Hmm.
and I got like maybe like 7,000 followers or 6,000 followers on my page. But I don't know, like I don't know. Facebook is like all old people, like old dads and stuff. So like I don't know. I kind of quit that after a while. Um, I don't know. So there's been like some stuff about TikTok, right? Getting like
Yeah,
maybe banned in the United States.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess if it gets banned, I don't know. Maybe something will pop up, but right now I'm not really too sure. Maybe one of the other like Twitch clones that are out there
Hmm.
at some point. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't really know. Not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like, I don't know. I saw that and I haven't like learned much about TikTok getting banned, but I feel like someone like Elon Musk is gonna come and be like, new age AI generated powered by ChatGPT,
Mhm.
social media platform, something like that. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for that. The next question, is there anything in particular that you feel like consistently like sparks your inspiration for your videos, for your shorts?
Um I always get the best ideas when I'm in the shower. Like that's like every time I have a good video idea, I get it in the shower when I'm like not looking at my phone, or like I don't know, I'm like not being distracted by like something, a screen or something.
Yeah.
There's like nothing in particular that'll spark my interest, but I think for people who are struggling, just like uh thinking of good content ideas, you can't really force it. I feel like you kind of just have to like let your mind wander and go throughout the day. Give your mind a break sometime, maybe do some like meditation, I don't know. Um but like I no, like I've always had been really inconsistent with like how many, like some days have like 5 video ideas just like
Hmm.
randomly throughout the day. And then there'll be like a period of like 2 months where I have like literally nothing goes into my head about making videos. So um yeah, I think like obviously you could follow like popular trends, right? Kind of like
Yeah.
observe, like go through TikTok, just kind of see maybe what like sounds are uh relevant, or like you could follow the popular trends as well. But I don't really like approaching my content that way. So
Yeah. It's like that's a good way to think about it. I think it's just like kind of leads to the next question, but like is there like a specific bar to where like almost like not really like a bar, but like something that you kind of think like are there any like checkpoints or just like almost like a certain amount of like credibility or like reliability almost that like an idea or a short in itself like a video has to have before it gets like posted on one of your platforms?
gotcha. I mean, if you want your video to do well, right, you need to have good retention, right? That's like viewer retention throughout the whole video, right?
Yeah.
You know, like how YouTube gives you a graph, like for your video, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like at the beginning of the video, it's like 100% of people are watching, but halfway through, only 80% are still watching like the video on
Yeah.
average, right? Um, the video, like you have to be able to picture that video having a million views. Like if you can't picture that in your head, it's not a good video. It's not a good video idea. Like, um, I mean, you can make the content you want, right? Like, if your
Yeah.
goal is not to go viral, like that's fine, right? You can just make the videos you want to. I'm not saying the goal of like YouTube is to like go viral and be nice,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, you have to like the videos you make in order to like keep going consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, anyways, but I really think like basically like would you watch your own video, you know? I think that's a
Yeah.
good question to ask yourself. Would you watch your own video and be entertained by that and put value into it, or like see that it has value and subscribe to your own channel, right? Because I
Yeah.
think a lot of cubers like that answer is no. Like the majority of people who
Yeah.
make Rubik's Cube content, I'm definitely not. So
If you're being honest with yourself, I would say a lot
yeah,
of times there's like, of course I would watch my stuff. It's my stuff, you know what I mean? But it's
yeah.
like
It takes a certain
at the
level of
end of the day,
maturity to like understand that,
yeah,
but yeah.
fair. Yeah, I think that's definitely a very important factor. Like, would you watch your stuff?
Hmm.
Is it important? Is it
Yeah.
for a level that's you? So it's just like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's definitely important. Excuse me. All right. Anyway, next question. I just kind of have these things I was brainstorming. Oh my gosh. But do you have like recently in cubing, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've really seen a lot of like cubers, like even some people who have been known for a long time, not really falling off, but almost struggling with consistency. And I'm kind of guilty of that as well, especially because I'm a student and then I also have other businesses. So do you have any tips for someone looking for almost motivation or just like a way to keep up their quality with their quantity of the videos they're posting with for cubing?
Well, sometimes it's really hard to like do that, right? Because
Hmm.
life has it's like you have to prioritize your life
Yeah.
over everything, right? And your life's going to be changing like all the time. Like for example, I started working a full-time job like last September, and like since then it's been really hard. You know, like 40 hours of my week, well, I guess maybe a little more if you consider driving, is just like gone now. So it's a lot
Hmm.
less time to make content now.
Yeah.
You just I mean, I've struggled with this myself as well, right? So it's like
Hmm.
I probably don't have like the greatest answer, but I think over time, like with a new environment, it's going to take you a time to like adjust. And like I think like this is kind of a hard like this might be kind of like a how do I say it? Like a wake up call for some cubers, right? Like
Hmm.
if you're not making videos, like you're not consistent, like ask yourself why you're really making the videos in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Because like
Because I'm
if
a
you're
cuber. That's the
yeah,
simple
like because I'm
answer.
a cuber, that's not I feel like that's not good at like it's not good enough an answer. You have to have like an
Hmm.
intention, like why are you making videos? Why are you making content? I make content to entertain, inform, and get people into cubing, right?
Hmm.
Like I have my own reasons on why, like core reasons why I make content. If you don't have
Hmm.
any core reason, you're just making an unboxing to make an unboxing. You're never
Yeah.
going to be consistent.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. That's a really good point. Yeah. I don't have actually much to add on to that. So I'll move on to the next question,
okay.
which is not a great segue and totally unrelated. But what do you think about the WCA and kind of their well, I've been asking a lot of people this, Livia Kleiner, a lot of people, but do you think that their decision to try to make cubing more of a sport and them forming the WSOT, which is the kind of like part of the WCA that they formed to help make cubing a sport, do you think that was a good move from them, or do you think that was something that they should have held back on?
I was actually very unaware of that.
Oh, really?
I didn't know. I didn't. I mean, if you could tell me a little more if you know about
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but
Okay. So basically, you may or may not know this. So the WCA, they have like the little post on their website, right?
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Like they made one talking about that, and then there's been some mixed reactions from a lot of people on based on whether they think that cubing it'll mess the overall basically how cubing has been structured for years, or if they think it's great and like it's gonna work really well. Like Lydia Kleiner, for example, she had a good take on well, there might be some negative things that you might have to introduce to the the sport, well, the overall community of cubing. But then I forget, am I cubing encoded or for you? It was like, well, it could grow the sport a lot, and I personally think it could add to the industry, stuff like that. But that's really the main takes on that.
So I guess the WCA is kind of trying to gear their competitions more towards like non-cubers and like get
Yeah.
the sport out
Trying to
sport
Yeah.
out there more.
They're kind of trying to build relationships with sport like companies
Gotcha.
too.
Like ESPN or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay.
Mhm.
No, I think it comes from a good like intention, right? For sure. Right.
Mhm.
It's definitely a good intention. If Rubik's cubing or sorry, I don't know. I say that. Oh, never mind. If speed cubing gets a lot of big sponsors, right?
Mhm.
We get a ton more money like into Rubik's Cube competitions, these national championships, world championships.
That's true.
I'm sure Rubik's gives a lot
Mhm.
of money right now, but like I
Yeah.
feel like I think this is what cubing has needed for a very long time. Some sort of really big sponsor coming in and investing a lot of money into cubing. I think it'd be super great, honestly. The problem is like I genuinely don't know like what advertisers or sponsors would be like interested because cubing's a
Yeah.
very young like competitive hobby, right?
Uh-huh.
And you can't really sell
Have a long history,
kids a
but
lot, right? You
yeah.
can't really sell kids a lot besides like Rubik's cubes, right? So I
Mhm.
think that's like kind of the like issue there, but yeah, I mean I think what they're doing comes from a really good intention. I'm just not too sure about like
Mhm.
logistically how it would all work out.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking like if you think of it like that, Cuban, like you said, it's like a younger sport, stuff like that. But it has a long history if we really think
Yeah.
back to or the Rubik and then the Melissa toy or whatever. Um, but it's like there's gonna be an industry that we kind of already have brands like YouTube growing a lot for cubers, like TheCubicle, other speaking stores,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And there's just like that industry. We're at a point where we can do so much with a lot of money because we're currently low funded, and we know how we can get that. Like we know how far we've got with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with that. But then again, there's like some other takes how it would just be like, oh, that mess up cubing, but we just have to be really smart about it. You know what I mean? Like we did go with the documentary and then kind of bashed through Red Bull World Cup the wrong way. So we just have to see how it plays out. You never really know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's gonna be like mistakes made by somebody somewhere, right?
Yeah.
When like something wrong is gonna happen, but if we want cubing to grow, like I think I think a lot of cubers want like I would say in general, most cubers want cubing to be like a very cool big thing with a lot of opportunity
Hmm.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, there's going to be issues. Like something's going to happen. Like it's
Yeah.
impossible to avoid, but that's just part of like maturing and growing up, I guess, as like a community, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Once again, not much I can add out of that. I think we hit all the high
Mm-hmm.
spots there. So yeah, I agree with that for sure. Anyway, next off for the list of questions that I have brainstormed. Um, in general with keeping as a whole and for yourself, where do you see like yourself related to Cuban within 5 years and as a person as a cuber in 5 years, like related and just as a cuber?
I
I've
have
said
no idea,
such bad
honest.
context, but I think you know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean.
know what you mean, but I actually have no idea, right? Because I mean, I really like cubing and I really like content creation.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, I sacrifice a lot in order to make time to make content quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
I sacrifice a lot of my time. So I really hope like I'll keep making content
Yeah.
after 5 years, right? Again with
Hmm.
YouTube, it's kind of hard to stay relevant, right? Hard to keep up with the
Yeah.
algorithm. Always gotta change your content. So I can't really give you like a good answer. I hope I'll still be making content. I hope
Yeah.
the budget for my content
Yeah.
becomes a lot greater. Like right now, I just like have a couple people I know just edit some videos. Like that's about it.
Yeah.
That's all I
Five stuff told me about that, stuff like that.
yeah, like Yeah, like right now, like what I do is pretty much myself and maybe a few other people, but I really hope everything will grow in the future. And I think it's just a matter of how much work I consistently like put in. So
Yeah.
yeah, I hope I'll be sub 8 finally on 3x3. That's another thing. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. I honestly have no idea, but I hope I'll still be in the cubing community.
hmm Those are kind of hard questions to answer because I feel like the people who have even quit, like this is personally for me, when I was like little, mainly because she was one of the few people on YouTube Kids, I really looked up to hashtag Cuber,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
don't see her anymore.
Yeah,
So,
I saw Ava actually at my last competition, but
oh, that's so cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. But like, you don't see her videos a lot anymore, and that some of that stuff, like, it's just hard to guess how life will get in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But never really know.
hmm
But yeah, once again, those were good points.
hmm
Definitely, I have something to add, but I think that for me, it's just like I'm young, so we'll see. You're
Yeah.
pretty young, so we'll just all kind of see how that
hmm
all plays out. But I agree. But next off, do you think that so obviously we're both sponsored by TheCubicle, and you've been sponsored longer than me for sure. But do you think that in general, cubing and the selling of cubes will get to a point where like hardware is look like almost like not as important because like I once again gave terrible context there, but I was talking with Lydia Kleiner. She gave some amazing points in that podcast. But we were saying like it'd be really interesting to go up to a brand new cuber, like a competition or something, and say like, "Hey, this is a GTS2 one, but don't tell them that. And say it's a brand new cube. What do you think of it?" And they may or may not like it a lot. Like, do you think that will hit like a plateau to where the industry of selling cubes might have an issue?
Like cubing hardware not progressing. Is that what
Yeah,
you mean?
yeah, like yeah.
No, I definitely think we've been there for like the last like 4 years
Yeah.
already. Like my 2x2 and 4x4 are from like 2019 and I still use them. Right. I
Yeah.
they like it's the Volk 2, right? For some reason they don't produce that cube
hmm
anymore. And it's
Yeah.
still the best 2x2 in the market. Like 3x3s have maybe progressed a little bit.
Yeah. Because
But
they,
not
they get
like
more of the attention though.
yeah, of course yeah.
Uh-huh.
Big cubes have gotten like I feel like big cubes step up maybe every like 2 years ish
Yeah.
right now. But like it's my 5x5s from 2020. But like
hmm
no, like cubing hardware is getting so good, it's gonna be hard to like top stuff. But
Yeah.
I think with the way, just the industry works with like cubing marketing and stuff, I think people will continue to buy new cubes. But like I think I really like try to preach, like especially on my live streams,
hmm
is that like you can get sub 10 with any cube.
hmm
Felix got sub 10 with like like basically a Rubik's brand, like
hmm
officially, right? Like back in 2010. Like you can use anything. Like literally get like a Tornado V3 or even like a Super RS3M today, and
hmm
you can get sub 10 with that cube, like not very easily. Sub 10 takes a lot of time, but right. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what cube you use. Um, and I think like I'm guilty of this too. I think as cubing content creators, even if we're, sponsored by somebody, we have to do a better job of letting people know, hey, you
It
don't
has
need this cube.
this amount. It's not gonna help you and improve your
Yeah,
times by 80
exactly.
seconds. If you're like a brand new cuber, it's not gonna
hmm
make you sub 10 in a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As a new cuber, just pick something and just like stick with it. Like you don't even have to do that much research or thinking because there's so much good stuff out there. And
Yeah.
almost everything works. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
like a lot of like people are, including me, are kind of guilty of that in some of our content.
hmm It's like there are things that you can use to improve, but getting a new cube, unless it's like you're going from like a Shane Shell 5x5 to like an MGC 5x5,
hmm
isn't going to be your make or break to be like world class.
Yeah. I
But then
think.
it's like,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
sorry, it's just how cubing works at this point.
hmm
But
Yeah.
thought you change.
I guess depending on your type of content, like I think a lot more emphasis needs to be shown on cubing resources out there
Mm-hmm.
rather than like just new cubes, because cubing resources will help you a lot more than just getting a new
Yeah.
$50 3x3. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like it's probably better to invest $10 in like a if you have an older cube or stuff, it's still probably better to invest $10 in like some kind of course or something, some kind of critique
Yeah,
than
yeah.
like the new ball core RSRAM. I don't even think the
Hmm.
ball core is $10. I think that one's 20 and the normal one's
Yeah.
10. But
Hmm.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
There are definitely some ways we could all improve in that without killing cubing's industry
Yeah. Hmm.
and just adding maglev to a cube.
Yeah.
It's
It
like,
just makes the cube faster.
what a
Like that's it.
difference.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's it, honestly.
Maglev kits though could be probably a little bit helpful and they'd be much cheaper.
Yeah, but
That
that's
could be.
work. I
That's
don't like
true.
doing work. Yeah.
Work is not preferred.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll just do that. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Next question. So I was just kind of brainstorming on if we look at cubing right now, we see a lot of bigger creators, right? We see Cupid, JPerm, um, even cube stores like TheCubicle, like huge subscriber bases over like the 200,000. Same with you on your Twitch channel. Do you think there's gonna hit a point where cubing will continue to grow like these huge channels in other niches, or to where cubers almost have to step out of the niche, or will hit a plateau in where like their content meets a like I'm like don't have a word for it, but like a subscriber base that would listen.
Yeah. So standard JPerm content, he's never gonna hit 20 million subscribers, right?
Yeah,
Unboxing reviews, other like fun Rubik's Cube challenges,
yeah,
you're never gonna hit 20 million, probably even 10 million.
yeah.
I'm sorry, JPerm, if you're watching, but you gotta step up
He
your
could hit
content if you
like
wanna.
one day he might get to 3 million just because of the fact that he's such an OG.
Yeah, I feel like
But
three or
like,
four, like kind of
yeah,
is where I would cap it. But I
but
mean, I would hope he gets bigger, but
yeah,
that's just realistically like what I'm kind of thinking. But
hmm
yeah, no, like I think for sure you're gonna have to start like getting non-cubers kind of interested
yeah,
into your videos, because there's a lot of cubers out there, right? But there's only so many
hmm
of us, right? And there's only so many of us that
yeah,
like watch cubing videos too. That's like a percentage of like cubers, because most people just
yeah,
kind of know how to solve a cube, maybe do it here and there, but like it's
yeah. They're
like you
probably
definitely, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead, kind of interrupt you next, but there's probably thousands of people in the WCA database who don't really cube.
Hmm.
Their little brother just brought them along, like two
Yeah.
siblings. I know people
Uh-huh.
like that, and they're just like, okay, I'll figure out 2x2. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Like you, like as content creators, I think Soup Timmy's have done like a pretty good job of this actually. Like I think his videos are very non-cuber friendly
it's
in
applicable to
general.
everyone.
Yeah, exactly. He
Yeah.
describes things like very simply. He doesn't go too into depth with things, and I think that's why Soup Timmy has been so successful in the YouTube short niche. His consistency with making content, good quality content, and yeah, like just in general, making keeping things simple for the viewer. So
hmm
yeah.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, I think that, so basically, what's interesting about Soup to me is I don't know if you've seen the YouTubers Colin and Samir. They really, if you look at their channel banner and their about, they make content for YouTubers to watch and gain information. But I'm pretty sure if I showed a Colin and Samir video to my dad, he would find it interesting. Partly because he finds everything interesting, and partly because the average person would find it interesting just how they talk and how they make their content. And I think that that's could be applicable to keeping in, like you said, Soup TV. I think your content also does a good job of this occasionally in a lot of instances where it's like if I showed it to anyone, they'd be like, "That is so cool!" Like we have
Hmm.
like a good, I don't know, advantage almost in as cubers for YouTube because the average person, if I go outside and I'm like, hey, can I show you something really cool? And I find this like old guy and I show him how to solve a cube, or like I just solve a cube. I'll be like, that is amazing. One day I'm gonna, old people talk. But like one day I'm gonna remember you when you're famous and super smart or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's like we have kind of an advantage of kind of being interesting in general. So I
Hmm.
definitely agree with that. I think a lot of people find that just keeping pretty fascinating.
Hmm.
But we're kind of running out of time here. So I have a couple the other day I just asked community posts, what would be a good idea to ask some people other like for the podcast? As people recommended, I asked some non-keeping questions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna head into some rapid fire non-keeping questions. First off, pineapple on pizza.
I
Rules of this
mean,
question.
everybody who hates
Pineapple
it
on
has
pizza.
never tried it, so
I know that's
that's
what
what
I
I'll say.
said. Yeah, I like pineapple on pizza, but
Hmm.
apparently that's only 20% of the world, something like that.
No,
Next
they're
off,
just very stubborn. So yeah.
hmm next off, coffee or tea. A lot of this has to do with food, by the
Um, Neither.
way. Yeah,
Try to stay not caffeinated. Try to keep that natural energy.
yeah. Next off, would you rather spend some of the day like with your friends, just hanging out, eating pizza inside, something like that, or going out and like walking around the city or something?
Probably walking around the city. I like the exercise. Pizza is
Yeah.
fat.
1 second. Let me check for the other ones. There were a couple really good ones out there. Photography or videography?
Videography for sure.
hmm And then, so I gotta kind of scroll through these, find the good ones. Oh, this is a good one. Fall or summer? Because they're kind of close, but like, I think fall would have the
I would
most.
say summer.
hmm Would you say math or science is harder?
Science, because you have to read, and I don't know how to read. I'm so bad at reading things
All right,
in
I think
general.
I'm out of good ones though. Do you have any good hot takes? I don't know. We're kind of running out of Zoom time,
Hot
so probably about
takes.
done.
None that I mean, I do have a lot of hot takes in general. I just can't think of any right now.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, we're kind of running out of Zoom time, so probably end it here. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
yeah, thank
I
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me,
hmm
Chensley. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. It was definitely a really interesting conversation.
Mhm.
Peace.